Retweeted.
Excellent. Hi, everybody. Welcome to SnarkAlecs Radio and the return of adult supervision to this radio show. This is Kelly Toole at KELLYTHUL on Twitter, also known as 8-Track, Cross Fours, and that later. And Super Show tonight. We're going to get to talk a lot of We're Alive. We've got some return guests we're very, very excited about. We have other returning people, too. And so, without further ado, Tony, why don't you introduce yourself to the folks, because you're, like, always here.
Hi, I'm Tony Solo on Twitter. How you doing?
Also with us tonight, familiar face too many, Mel. Mel, want to say hi to the folks?
Hey, everybody. I'm Mel. Hopefully you know that by now. At Karmic9 on Twitter.
I'm looking forward to the next introduction, but the one after that I'm not. I just got to say right now. So now, Casey and the She-Hulk band is here, so go ahead and have them introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Casey. This is She-Hulk.
I'm Blair Wayland. Hi.
Also, I see Dawn has joined us as well. Dawn Snarks,
Hey,
what's hi?
Hey, Dawn Starks on Twitter.
Excellent. And in a dark cave, laying amongst the bones of orphans, it's Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike at Official Pagan on Twitter. And I am so happy that Kelly has rejoined us finally. Kelly, are you maybe later in the show after we get through a little bit of We're Alive talk? Are you going to talk about your prison experience?
No, because there was no prison experience to talk about, Mike.
But that's why I went out and got these face tattoos as a show of solidarity, so that when you got out, you would find it easier to acclimate to life on the outside.
Yeah, you're my acclamation to normalcy, Mike. Exactly. How's about
romance?
Yeah. How's about instead of helping me acclimate back to the society, you give us the SnarkAlecs news, Mike? Then we can get into talking We're Alive.
I guess we can do that. Okay, so do we have a Boo of the Week this week?
I've not been on Twitter a whole lot lately, so I have no boos to offer. Tony's usually
Can I boo that you haven't been on Twitter?
There you go. Boo of the Week is Mike booing me for not being on Twitter.
All right, so moving along. Birthdays. Friday, August 1st, we have Scott McDonald. Saturday, August 3rd, we have
Jerry.
Jerry.
78, right?
Scott McDonald?
Yeah.
78 years old?
Yep.
That's impressive. That's like half of Betty White. Betty?
Why do we have to bring Betty White into this?
Which half of Betty White is Scott McDonald?
Listen to me. Betty White is a goddamn national treasure. I'll bring Betty White in at any time. Saturday, August 3rd, is Jerry Fletcher. Snark Stock. Kelly, are you going to stay out of prison long enough for Snark Stock?
So there may be some state border issues that I'll be facing, so that may affect the planning.
Okay, well, assuming Kelly can get off of the no-fly, no-drive, please stop with the cavity searches list, we'll have some Snark Stock news for you, but if you don't remember, the venue is set. We just need to set the date. The venue is going to be the First Banana Theater in Philadelphia. See, I'm doing good with the news. Tony says I suck at the news. This is awesome. This is the best news ever.
You're doing great, Mike. Keep it up.
Thank you. See? Thank you, Mel. I'm glad you're back.
It approaches coherence much more closely than...
She nurtures and supports. See what I did there?
That's what I do.
Well, you know things are bad. Kelly, when you weren't here, Mike actually had to give me the break sign.
I did.
A couple of times.
No, I fisted Tony.
And that's not code for anything.
Thanks, Mike.
I fisted Tony so good. So anyway, Sunday, we're going to have Dylan Knows. Do we know what time that's going to be? Dawn Snarks?
It should be usual time. We will be back from vacation by then, so.
The usual time. So whenever Dylan starts, that's when Dylan knows.
Exactly.
The usual time.
Is it true, Dawn, that he can't start his show until he's finished his chores, and that's why he's late all the time? It's not the computer issues that we hear about.
No, I gotta, ride him hard, man. You know how it is.
You know what? I really respect that. Now that I know that that's what's behind this, I respect that. You keep him in line, Dawn.
Yes.
You keep
Yeah,
Dylan in
you
line.
have to. Otherwise,
All right.
he'll just do God knows what.
See?
Mhm.
Now, on Sci-Fi, August 2nd, Sharktopus versus Petracuda. Did I say that right?
Terracuda.
Petracuda? Oh my god, really?
Wait, it's Terracuda?
Terracuda, like a
Whatever.
pterodactyl, barracuda, mashup.
I just got tattoos on my face.
Worst news ever.
And we're going to start the Kickstarter for real. For real. Kelly is 100% behind this. He is putting his blood, sweat, and cavity searches into this. It is going to be on fundanything.com, and the likely site address will be fundanything.com/loudandloaded. The page is still being built. We are waiting for them to approve the video for it, and then it will be up probably by tomorrow. You will get awesome, awesome prizes. Not only can you stay at Kelly's house, you will. You know what? I'm not even going to tell you. Just wait till tomorrow. It is disturbing. Disturbing.
Oh, what the heck?
What?
We have a duck sighting? A zombie duck? Oh, this is.
Wait,
How
hold
do you
on.
guys have stuff? So for the folks listening on the radio, there's a lion in a pilgrim hat and a duck.
No, it's a giraffe with a
A
wedding
giraffe?
veil. They just got married.
Oh, the lion and the giraffe. Lions eat
Oh
giraffes.
man, we don't want to see that. Come on.
Well, we got lion on giraffe wrongness going on.
That's adorable.
We were gonna slowly bring them in from the bottom. And
It's
I
been
think
going
we
on
should.
for a while.
Absolutely.
You know what? Honestly, I'm into hotline on giraffe action as much as anybody else.
There's a shocker. There is a shocker and a half.
It's just good, wholesome fun, and if you can't listen to a guy with tattoos on his face, who can you listen to? So anyway, like I was saying, the fundraiser. Kelly, you have gone all out. You really shocked me here. This man is doing things that honestly made me gag twice. Fundanything.com. Go there. See what Kelly's doing. It's honestly degrading, but we love him for it. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, so outside of what Liar Mike is saying, there are going to be some really cool premiums for different levels that don't involve me and don't have some cool things.
Actually, no,
so-
one of them does involve you. Tell them the one that involves you, just you directly.
Okay, so the one that will involve me directly is that, oh my goodness, we have Dylan showing up too.
Dylan,
Dylan.
hey!
Oh, no, get away from that computer! Get away!
No, he's adjusting the turn me black and white. So
you get a bowl of soup with that shirt there, Dylan?
And now we've
Oh,
got
wait, what does Casey have up now?
the
Mickey
What
Mouse
the-
astronaut.
An astronaut and
I-
It
You know
looks
what,
like an
I'm
angry
just-
bird with mouse ears.
I'm not sure what it is.
I'm just keeping my screen on Casey and Blair. This is awesome.
Casey and Blair, explain yourselves. What do we have now?
we have a lot of toys at the desk, and while we're listening, we're just playing with them in front of the cameras. This is the Mission Space Mickey. For some stupid reason, I have
Nice.
this.
This is the squeaker from
Yeah, Toy Story.
Toy Story.
So it's the Mickey Mouse version of the one Squeakums from Toy
Oh.
Story.
Does Mr.
So do
Mr.
you-
Whiskers play with that?
No.
No, he has other toys around the room. There's a lot of stuff we can get. We have lots of props.
So you two have a fairly large Vinylmation collection then?
This is it. All in one shot.
That's it. We got the whole collection. Shoot, I wanted to do the rest of the show talking about Disney Vinylmations because that'd be awesome. wouldn't it? Maybe.
It's a genius. They just repaint these things and sell them over and over again.
The Star Wars ones are cool.
Yeah, it's like the modern day baseball cards. You never know what you're gonna get.
I got 2 Han Solo ones, which of course meant I got a Han Duo.
Boo!
Boo.
You know what, Kelly? Kelly, you lost a lot of your cool points with me for having a Disney Vinylmation character. I honestly don't know what kind of self-respecting man would have something like that.
Type of man who drinks out of a baby doll head.
Like
Judith
three
is
of
here.
the men
Judith is
here.
always with me. Say hi.
That's baby Judith.
Judith.
Hi,
Yeah.
Judith.
So real quick on the Kickstarter right there, the one legitimate thing that I will be involved with on the Kickstarter is that
Involves rubber gloves.
It does. It does for the arts and crafts part of it.
And this actually ties into kind of a chance to kind of talk about the egg for tonight. So you will be able to request a customized decoration of the Piranaconda egg. I don't know if anybody knows this, but I won the Piranaconda egg, the actual prop.
No,
egg from
Kelly, do tell
Piranaconda.
me.
Did you?
I don't know if you're
When did
aware.
this happen?
It's not something I
don't
don't share it often, but I did. There were
You're a
2 prop
damn
eggs.
humble man.
I know.
Wow.
One of them sunk, and I have the other one. And we will decorate it in honor of you. And the egg will say hello to you. And the egg, who has its own Twitter account, will tweet to you sharing the photo of the egg decorated in your honor as one of the premiums. So.
And we will also post it on the website, and it will stay up there forevermore. But when you say decorate the egg, what do you mean, Kelly? Pray tell, decorate the egg. How would one
Decorate
do
the
that?
egg. I put the egg in various finery because I don't know if you're aware, but I did win the Piranaconda egg. And I earned it through tweeting a lot, I guess. I don't know what it was. But so it wasn't really an art. But I will put it in the finery appropriate for the individual. If they have a request, except Mike, I will direct it. I will be happy to decorate the area, and then the egg will we'll make sure that everybody knows that this egg is decorated for you. So it'll be good. Tonight, for example, the types of things is for tonight in honor of our guests. And as we get into We're Live, I'm going to be interested as we talk about the spoiler side of this because it's such a fantastic show. But we'll
And we will be
decide
spoiling. We will be spoiling.
We'll be spoiling all the way up to the end.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So.
Well, so tonight the egg it's back behind me for the folks on the radio, and it's a large black void right now, which Casey in a very disappointed fashion was thinking, oh, he's hiding it and is going to reveal work. No, Casey, this is it. but please bear with me for a moment because I call this egg a soul and 2 points of view. So that's the name of the egg. So think
You
about
got all
that.
esoteric and shit in prison, didn't
Yeah, but it's We're Alive focused. It's Bert's soul, based on the final episode, and Hope and Scratch's point of view, because this is what they kind of see right now.
Oh. Okay.
Oh.
There you go. So it's a little artsy.
you? Thanks for ruining the ending for me, Kelly.
All you know is there's darkness in Bert
It's very dark.
and what Hope and Scratch can see.
Well, we're gonna get into like massive spoilers here soon, I guess. So
Yeah.
Tony's fisting.
Okay, do we need to take a break too? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, hey to everybody, we're going to take a break. You're listening to SnarkAlecs Radio on Live 365's loud and loaded station. Casey and Blair Wayland are here, and we're going to talk We're Alive when we come back. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. We're back. You're listening to SnarkAlecs Radio. Tony, are you done fisting?
One is never really complete, but
So either Tony has had a seizure. No, I saw his eyes move. Okay, he's there. Good. All right. That was early. Okay, good.
Read between the lines, dude. Read between the lines.
I know. I get that a lot. So, wow. So, where to begin? So we have opened the spoiler kraken, and we can just let everything rip here and just have at it. Everybody cool with that?
Yeah, but before we get into We're Alive, the last time Casey and Blair were on, we found out a little bit about Casey's obsession with Lorna Dunes. So we want to know how he's doing with that.
Are you causing marital strife? No.
They're right.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Oh, crap.
Break my
No, I didn't
jar.
break it. It just fell on the carpet. You're fine.
I
So
have a
he's
snack jar at my desk.
Snack jar full of them, right?
So yeah, I have plenty of Lorna Dunes on ready at any time. But they're not my favorite in the jar though. So
What's your favorite in here?
I think the Oreo things are the best. They have like little Nabisco like Oreo. These things are amazing. If you've never had them, they're awesome.
and
The folks listening on the radio, Casey just showed hexagonal-shaped Oreos.
Yeah, They're like little 100. You get them at like Target. They're like the 100-calorie packs. They're really, really good. They don't really taste like Oreos. They're something different. It's pretty
It's
good.
like chocolate graham crackers.
Yeah.
And before we really get into it, I just want to apologize in advance to Blair, just in case I call her by a different name tonight. I did it with Elisa last week. I think I called her Pegs maybe once or twice. So
It's okay, I'll respond.
just in case I call you Lizzie, because it was easy with Jay, because Jay was going from Jay to Datu and back and forth, but Blair, it's the voice, and the same thing with Elisa. It was Pegs that was talking to us. So.
But we can call you She-Hulk, right? That's still cool.
Yeah, this is fine.
You need to talk that way for the rest of the show. That'd be awesome.
She was on the East German ladies swim team. She could bench press 400 pounds.
Right.
Das ist
Did you read my profile in Sports Weekly?
Is that a thing, Sports Weekly? Did I pick that up?
No.
No.
Oh,
Sounded good to me.
And usually Melissa says blah 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 sports, but it worked.
Yeah,
That
but
does
you-
too. Yeah, we're not big sports fans. We don't really know much about them. Well,
Surprise!
I know how they work, but I don't follow them.
More than-
Yeah, so Mike and Melissa would be on Team Casey and She-Hulk then, because they're also not big sports fans at all. There, Mike's face painting might give you a different feeling. He looks like kind of a twisted soccer fan, but he's not.
He likes the Saints.
Oh, very good.
So Kel, you don't know this, but
Well, you don't know what I don't know.
well, I do know that you don't know this because you haven't been on Twitter the last couple of.
That's fair.
But Dawn has called Casey various names over the course of the season.
That's not cool.
And but Casey always responded. But what you don't know was that Dawn was one of those people that could not wait to get the finale. So she did
I
what?
have
Dawn?
impatience issues.
So what did you do?
I bought it. I listened last week.
Thank you.
Yes,
Good
yay
deal.
me.
But what
Yay
happened?
me.
What happened?
Well, I was on my work computer, which of course the bad things happen when I try to download stuff at work. So yeah,
Because they kind of want work computers to have people do work.
One of those companies, huh?
One of those kind of jackbooted thug do
I
work
know.
at our place
What I
companies.
think
Yeah.
they're interfering with my We're Alive, download, whatever.
How dare
Yeah.
they?
I wanted about it on Twitter, and then Casey was so awesome. He was like, he DM'd me, give me your email, and then he sent me like a file sharing thing to be able to download it, and then it worked perfectly. So I got my We're Alive fix.
So is this where you tell them you actually never paid for anything?
No, but
Come clean,
I
Dawn.
paid for it.
Oh, of course.
And she uploaded it to
Wait,
Pirate
what?
Bay.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that.
So Casey was really nice after all those nasty things that you said about him over the
I only
course of the
called him an
season.
asshole like 10 times.
Oh, well, you should have heard what he called you.
Oh!
Wouldn't have been the worst thing I've ever heard.
Though she
I'm
called him
just
the lesser
kidding.
Dylan.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. He
Well-
doesn't say anything mean about anybody ever.
I will say though, thank you for pre-purchasing it though, because that people don't know that it directly goes and supports the artist who did the music. We did a deal with him, and it goes directly into the next project we're doing. So thank you for that.
So Casey, I
It's not
know.
for everyone. I got my fix. You
Oh,
satisfy
yeah.
my impatient urges. Artists get paid. Everybody wins.
Yeah,
I got some ringtones too.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go, Melissa.
Very
So,
cool.
so a couple things to catch up on. First of all, Best One in the Jar came back a little bit earlier. That's a great band name. Didn't get a chance to get that in earlier, but Best One in the Jar is a great band name. But Casey, so I know there's mixed feedback on, there's everybody's got kind of an opinion on stuff. And so how did the prepay thing go? Did you get kind of good buy-in from folks doing that, or?
We did. Honestly, we had such great reception to it because we were very forward with how we're gonna why we're doing it, who the money goes to. We were very forward about that, and I think we only had one negative comment, which was "You cheap, blah blah blah, put it out now," and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you only got one of those, that's awesome. Cause
Yeah, that was only one out of like probably at least 1,000 posts. So it's like, all right.
do you know why Tony said that?
No, I actually used your account, Kel. So he.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Michael waved the text I sent about it later. So.
As I pointed out, the wait that we had for the people who didn't want to pay for it and wait for the free version was just about the same as it would have been had it been a regular, the 2-week layoff and whatnot. So it was just about the same. So, waiting did stink for We're Alive because the nickname I had for Casey was the King of Cliffhangers. But let me be the first person on the show tonight to say,
Wait, you're not saying anything.
That's not talking. That's clapping.
the slow
Tony.
clap. That was the slow clap. But I mean, the entire series, but the last season was phenomenal.
Thank you.
The finale was last year when you were on the show. You said that you weren't going to tie things up in a nice, neat ball, but you tied it up enough for me to where I was very happy with it. I'll let the rest of the people give you their opinions, but that's just me speaking.
Thank you. Yeah, there's. I'm sure we'll get into it, but there are the things that are left intentionally open are left that way. So it's about not too much more than the main plot, but it's a little open. Not too bad. Just I'd say maybe like 20%.
So I would be interested to know, Casey, if Ink actually looked like Mike, how would the story be different?
If Ink looked like Michael.
Nobody would have let him in.
He's talking about this Mike. I don't.
This Mike, this painted Mike, who's somewhat honoring Ink.
Okay.
He doesn't decorate eggs as well as I do, but he's trying to be inky.
No, it looks good. It looks good. I can only see like one tattoo, and Ink has, I think, like 50 on his face.
Way to underperform, Mike. Nice job.
Yeah, well, no. It looks good. I'm not knocking it. Definitely not knocking it.
I am.
I'll show you. Well, one of the things we did for the live event was actually I got tattooed up as him. So, and this is one of the things from the live event, but you can see like there's so many
Cool.
tattoos on his face.
Okay, hold on.
So on the radio, crazy, bald tattoo guy.
Yeah, and I believe this is something that you can see if you go to the zombiepodcast.com.
Yeah, we have a couple pictures of it up there as well, and it's all over the place. So, and there's even if you go to our wiki, there's somebody who's gone through and like translated every single symbol into what the source is and what they come from.
Okay, so since you're talking about the finale, there was something else that happened at the finale. If you look at Casey's face.
Oh yeah, the beard's gone.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, Casey, or three or 4 weeks ago, you were in your new office that was under construction, and there was a picture. There was a picture where Casey had a beard that looked like Duck Dynasty guy, because it was, I don't know how long it was, but if you didn't see the picture, how long was his beard? And Blair, how come you didn't bat him over the head and shave it while he was sleeping?
She didn't want me to get rid of it.
I loved the beard, actually.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Todd's like,
I
what?
saw Don's face. That was so funny. No, I really like the beard. I'm into it.
I stopped shaving in February to make it to the finale, and so at the finale event is when I shaved it all off because I was trying to like show on the outside how much turmoil was going on. So the beard just kept getting longer and longer, and it got to the point where it was just I was more looking forward to shaving than I was the actual getting done with the event. So it was very, very a good moment to finally get all that off and shed and like be able to eat a hamburger without eating your face,
So Mike and Mel, they do that in sports. That's a cool thing to do in sports. It's the whole kind of beard to momentum thing, just so you know.
Really?
I don't understand sports at all. I'm too busy with Teen Wolf.
As is Mel. As is Mel.
See, Mel and I have a lot in common. I mean, other than the face tattoos and the beard.
Absolutely.
We have a lot of other things in common.
Now we just need to get you in on Witches of East End.
I've heard about it, but I haven't watched it yet. So we're going to have to talk after the show.
Okay.
For those of you listening at home, Melissa has face tattoos, and she usually covers them up with makeup before the show.
Yes.
Yeah,
Totally.
She does, but she's got the Tyson, the like tribal look to them.
Yeah.
And
They're
elegant.
tasteful.
It's elegant.
Tasteful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very feminine. I like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, soft edges, not those sharp angles. So it's
Right.
really
I copied it from one of my games.
cool.
Yeah, and outside of the conspicuous lack of hot air balloons, which remains a concern for me, Casey, it was fantastic. It was really, really fun. So I'm kind of watching our time here. We got 5 minutes. So I thought, I think it's really we got a lot of questions here. So maybe we can, if you're all ready, we'll maybe round robin this a little bit, and maybe Mel, if you don't mind, because I like to put you on the spot, start you off first. We've got Casey and Blair here. We've got We're Alive done. You got a question?
Do we mind where we jump?
What? So Casey, what?
I was saying we have like every script behind us, so if you want to play the script game later, we could try that too.
Well,
God.
Well, besides just doing the finale, it's been a whole season since we've seen Casey, so we've got a whole season worth of questions.
Anywhere you want to go, Mel.
Okay.
You get to go first. Question to Casey and She-Hulk Blair.
My main question is, when in the finale we kind of learn more about where the zombies came from, sort of. Mm-hmm. Did you have a particular inspiration for that?
Let's see here. What's a good way to reveal things without revealing things? Because that one answer itself is left a little. It's one of the areas we left a little bit ambiguous, and I'm trying to say my inspiration without giving it too much away. I'm gonna go with this, and I'll keep it as simple as possible. Is the inspiration for that came from the great extinctions that we've had on Earth, and that's all I can say. There's a lot of background and history into that, but it inspired a lot of what happens and some of the origin stuff there.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, one of the great extinctions, of course, is the Buffalo Bills running game. But anyway, moving along. So
I don't get that.
Yeah, I know. It's a long story. So, Ink Mike.
Yes.
Ink Mike.
I like that. All right, so even though everything has been spoiled for me because these assholes talk about it all the time, I'm only on the 3rd season of We're Alive. I was late in coming into it, so I'm still catching
listener.
up. So, Kelly, I did miss you, Kelly.
48 hours, man. I'm with you. I was like, it was hard for me to re-listen to the season.
Casey's only on the 3rd season too.
Yeah.
Listening is hard.
It is. I was trying to listen to everything before I started season 4 again, and I barely had time for that. I understand. It's a long series.
No, I'm really into it though. So I've been like binge listening and doing all that. But so going on the website and seeing some of the things. So for people like me who aren't as far into it, or people who are listening to this show and just getting into We're Alive, in addition to the podcast I saw on your site, you have things available on Amazon, like the preloaded reader.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to tell people about that so they can...
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, Mike, that's not really a question.
I'm giving you a chance to plug a product.
That's a plug pitch, but okay. So do your plug pitch and then
that's what
ask
we
the
do,
question.
though. We got to make it.
Your
All
name
right.
is Casey,
Look,
no?
I'm gonna think that the question is, well, what is this stuff?
What could that be?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about that, Casey?
Okay, so actually, it's a valid question. So our show is, when it's done each season, they are published through Blackstone Audio, and what we do is we go through and we remove all the breaks in between the episodes, so there's no breaks in between in the chapters, and we also remaster them so the levels. Sometimes we kind of rush here and there. We can't get a perfect leveling on all the levels, especially with early seasons. And what we do is remaster them and release them as CD versions. So now, the versions that are on Amazon and through the iTunes store, those are the ones that are like as clean and as neat as possible. Like the podcast version you listen to for season 1 isn't nearly as good as the remastered version that's on CDs, if that makes sense. So we just do that to kind of it's one of those things where it's like the money keeps us afloat and also goes into directly to the actors and things like that. So it's one of the ways that We're Alive has some income.
Right.
So people should buy those things.
Yes, they should.
Yes.
So if you're like an
See,
Amazon
that's a
Prime-
product plug, Kelly, since you didn't understand what those are.
Yes, thank you, Mike. Thank you for
It's
clarifying.
good. No, someone has to be here to do this stuff.
That's
it's fine.
right. So, like, if you're an Amazon Prime, user wearing your powdered wig and sniffing your snuff and whatever you do, like, ew, I think I should look at something else. Is it
That's
cheaper?
exactly what I sound like.
Yeah, I
Hey,
know.
I can stream Veronica Mars for free.
There you go.
That
Power to the
sounds
people. Power to the
You know,
people,
we
man.
only have like 2 powdered wigs. So, come on. I mean, the stereotype is not all true.
Yeah.
Primers are almost as bad as knitters. I don't want to even go there. But
What if you're both?
yeah, I know, Mel. That's a problem because you
I
are.
know. I know.
Oh, that's a shame. So, Tony's fisting again.
Tony's making a really inappropriate hand gesture right now.
So when we come back, Dawn's going to get to ask a question, but you're listening to SnarkAlecs Radio on Live 365's Loud and Loaded, and we will be right back. And we're back with the glowing urchin of doom on SnarkAlecs Radio.
Good band name.
Loud and Loaded. So, by the way, Kate, so we have a Snark statistics page on SnarkAlecs Radio where we kind of provide statistics on all the things that have come on, and so clearly a new category. We need to honor Casey and Blair as the guests with the most props, because without a doubt, this has been outstanding. The parade continues. We had a large glowing urchin ball there for a
We
moment.
should have had you guys
Oh
do
my
it
goodness.
instead.
And I don't know what that is. It's
Lego.
Lego man.
Lego something. By the way, because I was lazy, here's Peg's egg with duct tape, but I just had to take care of it.
Aw.
So Lesser Dylan, do you have a question for
Raider Dylan.
for Casey and Blair?
Okay. Well, actually, I asked this to Jay a couple of weeks ago when he was on, and he didn't really know. But given that Tanya and Saul both had this sort of built-in immunity, and then you saw that Datu was a slow turner,
Okay.
what kind of sort of led to that? Was there anything ancestral-wise that could have linked them?
Oh,
or
you
was
mean
it just
the
one
two
of those
families?
random things?
No. Datu is resistant. There are people who are more resistant than others. There's some people who are like, they got a whiff of the gas and they turn, so to speak. So everyone has a different level of amount of resistance to it. Datu obviously is not nearly the level of what Tanya and Saul were. So that's the toss-up you can do. No. So there's different grades of what you have.
It's
And-
like people who get sick. There are some people who never get sick. There are some people who are always sick, and then everybody else is somewhere in between.
Never sick, always sick.
So Datu was kind of above a number of people.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Matter of fact, most of our survivors are above the standard.
Got anything to say about that, Tony?
So no.
Okay. Just thought I'd offer you an opportunity.
Yeah.
So, but it is your chance also, Mr. Solo, so your first question for...
Okay, well, I've got 2 questions that
We
aren't.
only get one, so go
Well,
ahead. You've got to wait your turn, mister.
It's not mine. They're not my questions. I've got a
Well,
question.
then you can't ask them.
Everyone has to have their first course before you get your second.
Okay. Well, this is a question from someone named Sean. In the finale, Saul said Michael was right. Now, I had the same question, so I'll take this as one of mine. Saul said Michael was right. Then the audio gets repeated later, but you can barely hear what Saul is saying that Michael was right about. Something was coming up out of the ground. Is that something that you want to shed some light on, or do you want to keep that for later?
Well, I think most people know that the thing that he was right about was Inc. was working on something new, and Saul saw it for the first time then. The reason why we don't really get into like what it looks like and things like that is because it would be too much of a new introduction at the very end. It's one of those weird things that, like, if we had shown it or spent more time with it, it would be kind of left fieldish, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna deal with that. So it's the seed is planted. Possibly, who knows? Maybe we will find a way of seeing what it was or something like that in some other way later on. But it's very open, and all I can say is I'm very meticulous in the way I structure things to where it's like it's a little seed. If it grows into something cool, it might not. We'll have to wait and see.
But right, it didn't impact the outcome of the story either way.
No. Like I think like we spent too much time on it. Like I said, it'd just be way too late in the game.
Cool. Okay, that was my question.
Okay,
cool. Kelly.
So a live prop has joined us.
Yes, a cute one too.
Very cute little live prop. What's the cute little live prop's name, Blair?
This is Brownie.
She's ancient.
She's very old and deaf.
Oh.
Is she a corgi mix?
We think Shiba Inu mix. She could have corgi. I don't know.
She's got longer legs, but yeah,
Okay.
somewhere around there.
So
And
Mel
she
owns
played
like
one of
2,000
Marcus's.
corgis.
Yes, I do.
Oh, so you.
She was in We're Alive too. She was one of Marcus's dogs at the colony when Marcus had his guard dogs at one time. That was her.
Oh, cool.
Oh, she likes to do this. She's gonna do it now. There we go.
So my question, and it's not going to be about hot air balloons as much as I'd like to further probe the lack of hot air balloons, because it's a fantastic idea. But anyway,
Not bad. I like it.
I think there's options there. I think there's things that can
Patronize
be
him
done.
some more.
Shut up, Mel. It's not your question time.
They could also shoot at you very easily.
Yeah, so that's a That's the zombies, though, right? Because I can't
Yeah,
imagine
but there's enough maulers that they'd be like just shooting at you for fun.
the maulers would be a problem. That's okay. That's a whole.
They'd be
new
like,
thing.
look, there's a target. Let's just mess it up.
It's large and
There's
it's
Kelly.
flammable, and yeah, it's a problem. Okay. Way to rain on my parade. Anyway, so this is, again, everybody who's listening tonight, who's listening to We're Alive, and this is awesome because we're totally ruining it for Mike, which is like a perk. So we're in the last episode. I'm not known for my attention to detail. I have a problem, and so Tony does a great job, and kind of he's really focused on that stuff and helps me out. Mel has done that well in the past. I miss big things like, so the Montagues and the Capulets didn't get along. It's just I don't get details well. So where I got a little confused was, and it comes back to again, one soul, 2 points of view, the dark soul of Bert. So at the end of the series, and Bert has finally, much to our delight, had a chance to kind of repay some past wrongs. He says to Scratch, I'm gonna keep checking on you every day to see how you're doing. And then when that dialogue ends, there's this noise that my interpretation was Bert smashed his walkie-talkie, which would prevent him from talking. So can you talk to me a little bit about that? Because I'm sure I missed something.
Sure. No. This is actually something that Grayson and I kind of debated on a little bit. Because I wanted Bert to smash the radio because he can check on Scratch just to make sure that no one has got her out and that she has not gotten out. That's what he means by checking on her. The other reason why is the reason why the radio is smashed is because there's no room for any sympathetic turnings. She can't talk her way out of it. No one can find the radio and possibly talk to her. It basically seals the fate that no one else would know that she's there. And so that's the reason why it's smashed. And it also, because Bert is a little bit of a softie, it could get to a point where someone would be like, maybe she could talk her way and convince Bert that this is not the proper thing to do. So
There's no hanging chat.
Yeah.
There's no way she got out.
Nope.
Yeah. Now,
Stayed in there.
my take was a little bit different. I thought that's torture because she has no way of knowing what the time is, or because he said he was going to check on her every day, and I'm sure she's screaming into that microphone in my head, let me out, let me out, let me out, and there's nobody responding, and that is just awesomely nasty for her.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly cruel, and it does weigh on Bert a lot. And there is a little bit of a mention in that in between the lines in the epilogue. Oh, yep, she gotta go.
It's a cute dog. It's a cute doggy. Wait, radio listeners, we had a very cute doggy on the show. You missed it. So, all right. So I'm
Actually,
watching...
that's just the way Kelly talks now. He is a broken man after prison.
Yeah, he's broken. So, little Melly, you gotta get another question. No. So Mel, have at it again. Round 2.
All right. Let's see. Back when we learned about how Ink was in the armored truck and the zombies ripped him out of there. So I guess with what we've learned in the finale, because he had the protection mark on him, they didn't bite him. Would that be true? He turned from the gas, not from a bite?
No, they got him. So when he's in the van, he's pretty much like chained and locked. You know, they lock you to the chassis when they're transporting you as a prisoner.
You know this from personal experience, or
We know you too, Kelly.
Prison time.
he rolled right off his tongue. I didn't know.
Well, it's just I've done so much research on how they transport.
Oh, okay.
Sort of VIP. He also is considered a VIP, so most likely they would take him in more.
VIP.
Like train of thought, go on. So they would transfer him from the jail to the courthouse in probably most likely his own van, and they did get a hold of him, and they did get his arm in there.
Okay.
And one of the voiceovers claims that they got a hold of his arm, and then so he's bit and he's changing inside there. It takes about a half an hour, and then he finally breaks out.
Okay.
They did not see his mark, given the way that they attacked him, because it's on the side of his head. I don't. It's on the left or right? I don't have my note here for that, but it's on one of the sides. Whatever side it was the side he was attacked from. The opposite, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Cool.
I really wanted to come up with a negative comment for Mike, and it's eluding me. So Mike, just Mike.
No,
Good old
it's
Mike.
Mink.
Mikey.
He's Mink, you know, Mikey. Mink.
Mink. Oh, Mink. Wow.
This
is why this man's a Mink. It's from now on.
Well,
It's Mink to me.
Don't worry, Kelly. I'm not going to give them a chance to promote their products and make money off of our show. Because the last time I got that, I incurred the wrath of post-prison Kelly.
That's right.
But that actually, you know what? Based on his attitude, though, that kind of gives me my next question. So, do you ever, when you were writing the characters, did you ever imagine how you or people that you know would react in the zombie apocalypse? Because I'm trying to figure out how Kelly would last in a zombie apocalypse.
To be honest, a lot of the characterizations of people, how they react to these high-tension situations, are sort of based off of a little bit of combat experience that I had over in Baghdad, based on to see how people react in high-tension situations. And a lot of the times, they fall right in line with a lot of the We're Alive characters. You have people who handle it very well, some people who handle it okay, and then there's some people who just like lock up and don't do anything. So we kind of have a mix of that of in a story of who reacts in what way. People are petty about how they handle situations. So Kelly being selfish, that's something that happens a lot, regrettably.
The character Kelly.
The character
right?
Kelly.
We know about that.
Thank you.
Not that Kelly.
No, he knows what he said, Kelly. Let the man speak.
I'm sorry.
Kelly, what's Kelly's last name?
Lawyer. Kelly McLawyerton.
No, Kelly.
It's Kelly. I've got a boy's name.
Is it Kelly McDonald?
Kelly.
Man, it's
Kelly Ripa?
Nah, I'll look it up. I don't remember. That's rare.
Going to the wiki.
Yeah,
Kelly Green would have been awesome, by the way.
Kelly Maynard. That's it. Kelly Maynard.
Okay. Okay. And your point.
Do you have more to say?
Oh, that's it. That's all. It's Kelly Maynard.
You were talking about how people react to
Oh,
situations.
oh yeah. So that's basically at the end of that. Just interpret of some people react to situations from those.
From seeing them
Hey,
react.
so we're getting a little bit of background noise right now. Does somebody have a conversation going on behind them, or?
That might actually be me. I think my dad and Dylan are talking baseball in the back.
Fighting, it's kind of, why did you marry my daughter? It happens every night. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, well,
You're a disappointment to me. Yeah, that's very kind of, I would get that. So,
I am not able to mute Dawn.
Oh.
And me.
Dawn, you
I
are
just
unmutable.
I just wanted to see if
So, well, we don't want to mute her because I think we're going to ask Dawn the next question.
because I just saw Tony got muted. I'm like, okay, well, that was interesting.
I muted myself.
It was self-mutilation.
Yeah, mutilation, yes.
Boo.
Funny that way.
Actually, I was kind of. Oh, sorry, he's fisting
Oh,
again.
okay. Hey, you know what? I'm kind of thinking maybe we could take a break. When we come back, Dawn will, in her unmutilated state, share with us a question for Casey and Blair. So we'll be right back. You're listening to SnarkAlecs Radio, completely against promotion, on Live 365, it's loud and loaded, and we'll be right back. And we're back on SnarkAlecs Radio, and there's a snow globe. I don't know what it is. It's shiny. It's
It's a globe. And
it's a globe.
And
A globe and a sphinx. Another great band name.
A Michael Spink.
That's gonna spoil off. This thing's like
So-
marble.
That is marble. Like marble.
That's why it looks like marble, I
You're
guess.
so dumb.
I'm not a geologist.
I guess the honeymoon's over, Casey.
I'm not sure how much geology you need to identify marble, but okay. That
It
marble.
could be fake. It could be like
So
a.
wait, you won't let him plug his stuff, and now you're insulting him. Yeah, welcome back, Kelly.
Yeah, I got things I've got to do, as Walter White would say.
He's got to make up for 2 weeks of not being here, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of pent up stuff.
It works. He works.
Yeah.
He wants people to buy the album so that I can get a new chair. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Donnie, you're up.
Okay, kind of breaking up there.
Dawn, could you ask a question of our guests?
Okay, well, kind of piggybacking on what Mel was saying, that he wasn't a victim of the gas, he was turned by a bite. So what was it about? Was it the symbols that he had tattooed that kind of turned him into the de facto leader? Since he didn't kind of start it all himself,
Correct.
kind of how did he become the leader of the undead?
Part of it was the symbol itself. It is trying to find a way where I'm not going to spoil too many things because I'm getting into parts of the story that were never explored. But basically, they react to it differently, and he sort of assumed an alpha male position, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit of both. The symbol will give you so far, but then there's also a little bit of an alphaness that comes into it. So once he started to become, even though there were other people that had the mark, that's why he was different. He had that alpha kind of status. If that
You
makes
ever
sense.
watch The Dog Whisperer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
And I hate to say yes, but yes.
Okay, yes.
Gotta be calm and assertive.
And he was calm and assertive.
He was the zombie whisperer. So
Yes.
Kind of, yeah. That's a good assumption. So yeah, that was kind of the source of him. He was more of an opportunist than the actual cause, if that makes sense.
So if you flick a behemoth behind the ear, does it immediately heal and behave? Is that how that works?
So he found the power that he didn't have in life after being cuckolded by his wife.
Correct. Yes. And to answer your question about the behemoths, some of them you don't want to do that to, because some followed him, some didn't.
And congratulations, Don Snarks. I believe you're the first person to utter cuckolded on
Yes.
SnarkAlecs Radio. So congratulations on a new word.
Put that in the report.
Yeah,
Yes.
Laura, get on that. Report.
You missed the words that Tony was using last week.
Which were?
Tony's words were,
Don't see how is that nurturing and supporting? You're mocking a man for how he
That's Mel's
expresses
job.
himself.
malnurtured and supports, and I fight it with every fiber of
See
my
what I
being.
did there, Kelly? I'm plugging your show.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, fine. Whatever. You know, Tony, the show has descended to the point where you're like my best friend on the show, which is like so sad. See, it's not good. It's not good at all. Best friend Tony, did you have a question for our guest?
Yeah, and I'm not going to go into
One question?
I'm not going to go into the finale until a little bit later on, but besides the finale, one of my favorite episodes is, and everybody's going to say, yeah, of course. And I'm going to apologize to Blair, too, but in the episode where Datu and Lizzie both die,
Yeah, of course.
there was
of course.
a stark contrast
No, it's fine.
between... Oh, now she's going to walk away, see?
It's fine.
I had
It's
to.
fine.
Well,
It's
way
fine.
to go, Tony. Nice
Get it.
job.
Get it.
Excellent question.
Good job.
Drive Blair away.
We have awesome hosts on this show. Don't plug your products. You know what I liked? When you died.
You died. Hey, maybe you could leave now.
So, anyway, the question is a two-parter, Casey. One, I'm guessing you purposely wrote it that way, where there was a whole lot of confusion on the one side with the Lizzie story, and it was very calm on the Datu side, which was a very big contrast, which made it very emotional and very interesting. How hard was it to do the part with Lizzie, and how did you spend any extra time on that episode doing editing or anything other than what you normally do for that particular chapter?
Chapter 44 was probably about as difficult as the finale. The reason being because we spent so much time on that one, because it's the end of the second act in the in the fourth season. So there was a lot of time spent just trying to get it right. And when it came to especially just even the last musical stuff that we did there, it was incredibly difficult. Also, I did a post a while back where that episode alone took 3 years to produce, because it has a baby in it, which had to be cast. It has custom music scores, which has to be worked on way in advance. And not to mention, it's an incredibly complicated scene to have these two deaths coincide at the same time in two entirely different storylines. So it was a lot of meticulous planning with the scripting and everything. So probably the hardest thing we've ever had to produce, second to the finale, I'd say. And also, I definitely would say emotionally for me, because, well, I had to kill my wife off, and I had to listen to it at least 20 times, and also perform the Foley of Saul, who is reacting to his love of his life dying. So it definitely was a very, very hard episode. And I think probably one of the... I think the finale is good, but I think it is the peak of the fourth season.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Kelly, if I'm going to overstep.
It sounds like a follow-up question to me, but I'm gonna be magnanimous and say.
Well, because Blair walked away, and I wanted to get her take on that episode. The episode where Lizzie unfortunately died in childbirth. How hard was that for you?
Easy. I die all the time.
Good answer.
Just kidding. It was, well, first of all, Casey had me watch many videos of women giving natural childbirth on YouTube.
And so now you're never going to do it, right?
And then you started to prep for the show.
Yeah. just for funsies. And he did not watch them with me.
Cool.
So I did that to prepare, and
I was busy editing. Research actors, I gotta have a line.
Head things, yeah. Sure.
And so I did that, and then came in, and it was also the other thing that was super hard was that when I was like in pain for that scene, when we were coming into the hospital, I had to stay in pain, and the other actors were not like ready for the pain, like the death scene yet, and I was like, we do this scene a few times over, and so I was like like in pain and crying, and then we cut, and then all the actors would make jokes, and then we go back into the scene, and then I'm like, no, I have to start crying again because I was the only one in pain at that point, and that was difficult. But then the actual dying, of course, was heartbreaking. We only did it twice because it was just too much. It was so emotional, and of course, I don't know if you've seen the pictures. Deacon was there that day, and he took pictures, but we're all crying, all the actors, because it was just so emotional for all of us, and we're all hugging and crying. And Tammy, who plays Kelly, like couldn't, I don't know if she just like couldn't handle it. She went and sat away from us. Like we were all hugging each other, and there's a picture of her just like by herself. She's like, no, here. And it was hard. It was a lot. It was a lot of emotion, but it's something that I knew was going to happen from the very beginning because, you know, this guy.
It's one of the main staples in the story, you know.
Yeah, no, I've always known it's going to happen. So I've been preparing for it, and I've kind of been looking forward to it because it's gonna be a challenge, and it was gonna be fun. And also, unfortunately, it wasn't used very much. But I gave birth in the I gave birth on stage. We recorded it, and it's me screaming in pain, giving birth.
For like 3 seconds on the radio.
You barely hear it, and it's on the radio. But we recorded it, and it was like a lot of recording of me screaming, but it was kind of great because how often does somebody say, just like scream, like just go ahead and scream like as much as you can, just let it out, let it happen. So I did, and I was crying because it was so much, and but you barely hear it in the show.
So Kelly, do I have your permission to ask a question from a viewer?
The Kelly will allow it.
Okay, so well, it's more of an observation than a question, but Laura Norman says.
Well, I'm not going to allow an observation. That's crazy talk. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I thought at the end when Nick was looking through the scope and he sees the zombie that he was going to say it was his dad. And I kind of had the same feeling myself that it was going to be maybe not Saul, but somebody that he knew. But I guess that was just to punctuate that Nick made his decision and he was going to go into the program.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not anybody in particular that you would know in the series. Actually, if you really have good memory, it parallels a scene, I think in chapter 2 or 3, when his mom is doing almost the exact same thing. She's learning how to shoot a rifle on the balcony of the tower. So it's a parallel also of that, and it kind of mimics what her intentions at that point was when she killed that zombie. Are meant to be very similar to what Nicholas's intentions are. So even though he might say one thing, it might be a little different in his mind.
Surprisingly enough, I missed that. That was because the whole attention to detail thing.
Most people won't see it or hear it until their second or third time through. It's a small scene in the very beginning in season 1.
That's very cool. Excellent. So I think we got about a minute here, 3 minutes here, 3, according to 2. We'll just count down here from there. So maybe what we can do is we're going to be heading to a break, and I thought what might be kind of fun would be have Blair share how Lizzie would react to having to be on SnarkAlecs radio, which I think would involve lots of crying and screaming and those types of things. It's like, no, I don't want to be on the radio show. So you think you could take us out with "I don't want to be on SnarkAlecs radio" as Lizzie in tremendous pain?
You okay? Sure. Right. Just go.
Yeah,
for it.
let's do it now. We'll do it now.
Okay. No, I don't want to be on SnarkAlec Radio. No. Saul.
We'll be right back.
We got it clean. We got it clean. Oh, beautiful.
And we're back
great.
after the single most awesome moment on SnarkAlec Radio ever. Thank you so much, Blair. That was awesome. What the heck do we have now? I don't.
This is a good one.
This is a good one. This is anybody Game of Thrones fans?
Yes.
Tony and Mel.
Does that ring a bell when you see it?
Ring a bell.
That's
You
the
can't ring a
Dread
bell with
Fort.
visuals.
Is that the Dread Fort symbol? That's one of the
Yeah,
family's things.
The Valor
It's a coin.
Margalis coin, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's got it. And I got this from the writer himself.
Wow.
George R.R. Martin.
Yeah. He gave
So
me
he's
that
making
coin.
coins instead of writing the story. That's great. Love to hear that stuff.
Yeah, he
He's
should
gonna,
be
he's
focusing.
gonna die before he finishes that story.
He is not your bitch?
Oh, wow.
George Martin is not your bitch, Tony.
That's right.
That's what Mel says. I'm not saying it.
No.
I'm just.
Right. I
Neil
predicted it here.
Gaiman said that. And there's a whole song about it, too. Pollen Storm.
He's
Do I
working
need to
hard.
send y'all the video again?
Yeah, I think you do.
I'm just making my predictions. That's all I'm doing.
No, he has said that he's going to concentrate on finishing the book now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He said
Yeah,
that the
right.
other day.
Yeah, he's too
not
busy
gonna
taking
focus
pictures.
on season 5.
Yeah, he's not going to focus on anything, not going to Comic-Con, not taking pictures with everybody and their grandmothers and being famous. No, he's going to write the book, yeah, and he's going to die. I'm just telling you.
So is that a threat?
There you go.
Yeah. I would like to
Okay,
distance
so about
myself.
We're Alive.
I would like to really distance myself from the impending murder of George R.R. Martin at the hands of Tony Solo.
Yeah.
I will say that most likely, because I know he has an assistant, that they will find a way to, because I'm most likely what ends up happening is they have the outlines of what happens. They'll just have to like find a way to like translate it into a book form. It may not be perfect, but they'll finish it up for him. And also the two producers on the show know the ending as well. So
Yeah.
I think
Right.
we'll at least have something, you know.
At least the show will end how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get some hot air balloons, huh, Casey? Maybe that's what we're gonna get in Games of Thrones, because that would be awesome.
Awesome.
I had a contingency if I died too.
Yeah.
She'd have to finish it.
Oh.
Myself and Grayson.
Yeah. They had all the notes, and it's like I was like, hey, if I died, you have to finish this. So.
Understood.
So how's that come up over dinner? Anyway, is that you just kind of roll that out, by the way?
I am very morbid, so like it was one of those things where it's like, hey, I don't want to leave people with an empty story. It'll probably end up happening with my next series too. You'll probably have to
I thought
promise
you were
me
gonna be like,
again.
I probably am gonna die with my next series.
Hey, you never know. Cancer's quick.
No. Like car accidents are quick.
That's
Cancer
true.
is not quick.
That's true. Depends. We'll move on.
We're going to hope that doesn't happen either.
Oh,
Show is just taking dark
It's a
turns.
Wow.
Tony's trying to kill. Yeah, it's terrible. It's really bad. It's really bad. Hey, so Mike, I want you to observe this closely, okay? So, first of all, Tony, I'd like you to point out Mike just distanced himself from you. That's got to feel bad. I got to think when Mike says, "Whoa, wait a second," that's like a scary, scary place to be. But Mike, please observe on this. I want you to pay close attention. Casey, you mentioned new work. I'd love to hear more about what new work are you going to be doing, Casey?
Wait, before he says anything, though, it's actually my question.
Mike
I
would
had
like
this
to know.
question too, so it's all of our questions.
Yeah, Mink, and nurturing and supporting Mel have a question about. Is there anything you can tell us about what's in the future?
Ooh.
They want to know about Tales of We're Alive.
Oh, they don't want to know about the next series I'm working on here? Okay.
Well, we absolutely do want to.
We
I
do.
think they were setting you up for Tales of We're Alive, but I'm sure they're happy to know about that one too.
Tales of Burlesque.
Tales of We're Alive. Don't you look at the website?
Tales of
too?
Burlesque would be awesome. That could be a great show.
You could do it with audio
Which
drama
would
and
you
make it
rather
work.
have? Tales of Burlesque or Tales of We're Alive?
Make your decision now.
Burlesque.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm gonna go with We're Alive.
Is there
Yeah,
any
we're
way we
last.
can combine the two and have zombie burlesque?
No.
Well, similarly, the sound effects probably would be very similar. You know, have this
Okay, so you want to distance yourself from me, but Mike is there saying that he wants to see corpses strip. Okay, so he's got zombie burlesque there, but you want to distance yourself from me. Okay, that's fine.
Zombie Pasties. There's a great band name, by the way. So.
Oh, Kelly just made it that much hotter.
Yeah, so Tales of We're Alive. We announced it the other day on our live stream. Tales of We're Alive is basically some of the side stories of We're Alive that we're going to tell that involve other characters that we have not seen in the main storyline. The first one is going to be the Twin Towers jail and everything that happened there during when everything went down and what happened to some of the people there. It's like a little mini series, if that makes sense. It's going to be the plan is to make it from like 2 to 3 hours long, self-contained, the whole adventure or whatever they do, and then it won't be on the podcast for free just because We're Live is free for the business model of like, oh hey, you like this? Here's our other things, and that way we can actually start turning this into an actual like real company and have a more regular income base and just keep on doing more and more stuff and stories. The idea.
We will promote the crap out of it, right, Mike? 'Cause that's what
Will
we
we, Kelly? Will we promote
I will.
on this show? Okay.
I have grown during the show. I have learned.
You know what? I love that. I love personal growth stories like that.
Personal growth. That's what it's. That's
We
what we're all
I
You know
don't
about.
want to hear about growths, people. Let's just move along.
Oh, Mel, come on. You're making the show lowbrow now.
I'm making it lowbrow. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
We had a great show, and then Mel made it all dirty.
Yeah.
Arrow.
You
Absolutely.
just had to
It's always me.
sully our good name.
It's always me, I know. Mea culpa.
Shame.
Troublemaker.
No, and I think we can blame Dawn a little bit too. I'd like to. We might as well broaden the
Yeah.
bus a little bit.
No, Dawn has definitely started some shit tonight.
Oh,
Yes. No, I did not video bomb, so.
That's right. Yeah, I'm disappointed that nobody's kind of randomly joined the show yet.
Yeah, well, that's what I was waiting for. Tony keeps saying that he has questions from listeners, and I'm just thinking, why don't they just pop on? Security's awesome here, so.
Yeah. So Casey and Blair, I don't know if you're aware, but was it the last show?
It was last week.
Last week. So we're doing this finely crafted, well-honed machine of a show. Allegedly, I wasn't available, but that's what I hear was going on. And then, kind of mid-show, one of our regular listeners, Vicky Adesso, and we love saying Vicky Adesso's name multiple times because Vicky Adesso is a listener of SnarkAlecs Radio.
Who is?
Vicky Adesso.
Oh,
And Vicky Adesso appeared
Yeah.
as Vicky Adesso on SnarkAlecs Radio. Did we ever figure out what happened there? Can anybody just show up on
It was
the
the
show?
It was the most boring hack ever.
She was looking. I watched it. She looked like she was desperately trying to get out. Didn't know how do I cover my webcam. How do I
She's
get
like, it's embarrassing enough. I watch this. I don't need people.
precisely.
Well, that's not very good promotion, Mike.
Oh, sorry. That's right. We're personal growth.
That's
We're in
right.
the promotional spirit.
So, so Casey, they'll be kind of self-contained. So the We're Alive stories will be kind of self-contained. You'll tell the backstory of the Twin Towers prison and then other ones as well. And folks what will they do? They'll be able to go to the website and subscribe to it and get the whole, basically buy the whole package, that storyline, or will it be in episodes, or how will that work out?
We're still working out the details. It's not exactly set in stone yet. Matter of fact, we've gone back and forth. I've gone back and forth between Tales of We're Alive and Tales from We're Alive. I still don't know which one I'm going to choose from. But most likely, there's two ideas. One, we just release it all at once. The second one is we actually make it episodic to where it's like the month, every Monday we would release. So 3 Mondays in a row, we'd release it in 3 parts. So they're like 45 minutes each, if that makes sense, or something like that. So that's one of the ideas.
Excellent. I'm in. That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Think about Dr. Seuss's We're Alive. Just an idea. just another idea. You could tell the story that way in Seussian terms would be very cool.
One fish, two fish, red man, dead man.
Yeah, you got it. You did it.
All right.
Yeah, work on that a little. It seems to be. That's the gist, though. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, what else do we have tonight, folks, for our guests? Questions, Tony. I know you have many more. Why don't we just turn it over to you, and you can. You are unlimited. Just question away.
Well, okay, so Myrna wants to know, is Nick a future hero since he's special and lost both his parents like Batman?
Oh, wow.
Very good, Myrna.
I'd say potentially, yeah. I mean, he's definitely prone to have his own adventures. But as for any future plans, we don't have anything to reveal right now. But I will say that Tales of We're Alive will not most likely contain Nicholas.
I've got two people, Myrna and Laura, who both want to know what happened to Skittles. Do we not care, or is that something that might be revealed at a later time?
In terms of the story, we know that he is definitely afraid of Ink finding out that he actually helped our survivors. So most likely, when he left, he just split. He left where his tower was. He never went back again to that location because he's definitely afraid of because he got passed over once by Ink. He doesn't think it'll happen again. So he's definitely afraid of him, and it's pretty much moved on to a different area. Will we see him again? The future is yet to be seen. Who knows? He might. There's a chance that there are other. He might show up in the Tales of We're Alive. Who knows? But I wouldn't count on it just yet. We have I think 3 Tales of We're Alive thought about. Only one of them we know for a fact we'll do, and we'll just kind of take it from there.
So last week, Lisa Elliott was here, and she made some very disparaging comments about you, and I want to see how you respond to these. One of the things that she said was that you're a great boss. She said she loved working for you, and over the years, she believes that you guys have become great friends because she picked up other roles besides her voice part. So how do you respond to these disparaging remarks?
She is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. She is honestly, if we had a big income to where it's we got a full staff, she'd be on staff for sure and be helping out. We obviously worked a lot together on the last season. Actually, she was the print editor, or
yes,
we kind of gave her a couple roles. Even there was a time when I was pretty ill, really, really ill, and she was actually going to possibly taking over as a director for that day, which is very, very rare. So I've never had anybody else direct an episode, and she actually helped a little bit during that. And so, yeah, she has been a tremendous, tremendous help on the show, and I can't say enough volumes of good things about her and what she did.
She says yes to practically everything. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know how she does it.
So what you're saying is you will never work with her again, and you can't stand her or her new baby twins or anything like that.
Oh, we haven't met them yet, but we will soon. Now that we actually have lives again, we'll be able to do
Well,
more.
they weren't allowed to meet people till this week.
Yeah, so. And we actually haven't had, we got married, and I haven't stopped working since that day. So I've been working every single week since
At
September.
our marriage.
Yes. There you go.
What would Saul say at this point, Lizzie? What would Saul say that you're married to this guy here?
Hold on, I know exactly what he'd say.
Okay. So you got to write it first?
No, I'm saying it right now.
Because he's dead. Say nothing.
Sorry, that was cruel, but you pushed me there.
So
So I'm going to send Tony a Webster's link to what disparaging means. Just an FYI. So there appears to be a little gap between his understanding.
I know exactly what it means. So Laura's making a comment. It was genius. I cried when Saul died. She was pissed. And Scratch, she wanted to jump in and take care of her myself, and was happy at the end. So that was just a Laura Norman's sentiments about the end. Scott McDonald 3, whose birthday is tomorrow, wants
78
to know.
of the big 78.
Yep.
Wow. Happy birthday.
So look at that, Scott. You got a happy birthday from Mr. Wayland. Hey, your birthday just passed, didn't it, too, Casey?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, so happy birthday.
Very good. Happy birthday.
I think Tony and Kelly should sing happy birthday for you.
And I think Mike can go fuck himself.
What do you really think, Tony?
I don't think we can say the
Don't
F
hold
word. I
back.
was not aware until just now, but it's free reign then.
So, Scott wants to know why Scratch was so interested in baby Nick. Also, and I don't know if Scott's allowed 2 questions, but he also had, did she have special plans for Lizzie?
Okay, so baby Nick, why was she after a baby? Because she couldn't have one herself. And you can imagine, like, during this apocalypse thing, she's always wanted to have one, actually. You want the thing that you can't have the most. Even when Lizzie was there at the colony, she was like, the minute she found out Lizzie was pregnant, it changed the entire outlook of the way that she handled and dealt with Lizzie. So, like, that furniture store, like, she didn't, like, even her first encounter with Lizzie there at this roadside with Bert, she didn't care who she was. But the minute that she found out that she had a baby inside of her, completely 180'd her in terms of how she treated you and everything. Just because that's her one, like, soft spot of and her part of her dark past is revolves around that, if you remember that horrible background for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, she definitely does lay out the whole thing about what happened with her and her cousin back then, and tells her background. But at this point, I'm not going to fist anybody, but we need to take a break.
Oh, what was the second question? The break?
Did she have special plans for Lizzie? And we can...
Yeah, she would have maybe possibly taken the baby at that point, but she probably wouldn't have let on to Lizzie about that.
So at that point, we can take a break and come back. And
I'd like to have Blair take us out again, but she already did it once. Awesome. So I tell you what, we'll be right back. It was to SnarkAlecs Radio on live. Mike, could you pretend you're having a baby? No, it was to SnarkAlecs Radio on live.
I'm sorry, what? There was something with oregano happening here.
Yeah, no, we're fine. You listen to SnarkAlecs Radio live 365's loud and loaded station. We'll be back, and Mel will be mean to people. And we're back on SnarkAlecs Radio. We've got Mel. Oh my God! There's more things coming up. we now have a saber-tooth
The
thing.
lion head.
Mike, do you have that
Is that
head?
a hat?
Yeah.
Mike,
Awesome.
do you still have that head in your house?
Which head?
Go. Only you, Mike. When presented with the question, do you still have the head in the house? Have to ask which one.
Oh.
The goat head, you crazy man.
Big
Can I
giant.
ask, why would I not have the goat head anymore? Like, that's the weirder part of the question to me.
No,
Like,
the weirder part
did
of
I
the
lose it? Like, I was on the bus with the goat head and forgot it?
Why would you have one in the first place is the question we need to be asking, but that's besides the point.
I felt like that was obvious.
Oh my goodness. So Casey, I mean, it's a dashing look. The saber-tooth hat head type of thing is there an origin story to how one ends up with such a piece of finery?
Yeah, this is well. Does anybody Harry Potter fans here? No.
No Harry Potter fans?
Well, I have
No, I am.
a 16-year-old daughter who read all the books, and I had to see all the movies. So am I a fan?
Sure, your 16-year-old daughter forced you to
Yeah.
watch all the movies.
Of
Mike?
course.
Mike, at one
And
point
buy Justin Bieber albums.
you were one of my daughter's heroes, and I think you have just gone down a level.
I
It's
doubt it.
Luna Lovegood's hat. It's the lion head from the film.
Oh.
Okay.
Nobody knows. What
Nobody knows.
There's lions in Harry Potter?
Well,
No,
yeah,
just
Gryffindor.
hats.
Just
She
hats.
had a hat and it roared. It was
Yeah.
magic and it would roar.
So
Because
this
she
is
was
like
kind of
our,
crazy.
Okay.
Sort of like our replica.
Yeah, that's cool.
2 points for Gryffindor.
That's not even much.
That's a sad.
Yeah, that's a sad point.
You have set the guest prop bar so high that there's nobody that will ever be able to equal.
Well, the only people that could have come close would have been Jay and Nicole, Consweet Khan and Myrtleata, but you have surpassed them
Easily.
Oh, we have another break coming up, right?
We just did one. Why? Do you have something else?
We'll do for the next one. We have something we'll put up for the next one.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so does anybody... Dawn, do you have anything else?
Dawn, you're on mute.
No, she's not on mute. No, she's not muted. She's not. Go ahead, Dawn. Now you can talk.
She's just talking without making words.
No, because
Telepathy.
she's got a ceiling fan that's humming, so I've been lowering her level a little bit.
To mute.
Well, the Wi-Fi is for crap in this place, and then like the only place.
Okay.
Oh, you got the ceiling fan. No, okay.
And of course they have a ceiling.
Oh, they're so awesome.
I'm gonna pass on this one because
Okay.
that just took me right out.
I have an observation to make, Casey. And I didn't realize, and I got to take this thing off me. I didn't realize it at the time, but after I thought about it, because we had a discussion on Twitter about the water problem.
Yeah.
And I realized after that, because it's been in the news a lot, Southern California has a big problem with water, and most of the water. Yeah, and most of the water comes from other states. People like me that are over here on the right coast don't realize what the issues are for the people on the left coast. So, water is a big issue out there.
I get a pass now on that storyline? Is that...
You do, but now I'm going to give you something that you kind of don't get a pass on, because there was something in the finale that was just a tiny bit strange, and I know which way it can go, but there is that tipping point down in the tunnels, and after Ink has destroyed Cody, and Saul is the one who has to go in to try and connect the timer back up to the C4, and Ink shows up and he bites Saul, and Saul's telling Michael to blow the thing up, and Michael is going to do it. And Victor says, "Don't do it, you're going to kill Saul." And then Michael turns around and says, "But Ink is going to kill Saul. Either way, he's going to end up dead." But Michael's reasoning was, I don't know, a little bit off? Or was it to spare Saul getting ripped apart by Ink to blow him up?
Pretty much, yeah, that. It's he doesn't know the fate of Saul going there. Michael's arc throughout that was revealed a lot through season 4 was he has never been about the mission. That was something that Angel even said to him in the very beginning, was like, hey, sometimes I have to think about the mission over the people, and that's something that Michael never like had sink in. And so that's when it came to like killing Datu and also the thing with shooting Randy. He had a huge hurdle with like being able to kill people that he knew that were his friends in order to accomplish a mission. And it's a horrible thing to have to think about and put himself through. And so that was his arc right there, was because he knew that he had to go for the mission rather than the person at that point there. And that's when he went to push the button and it didn't work. So he had to. His arc of season 4 was him being able to push that button finally. So that's the intention there. Whether or not it rang true for you, but that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, but I was like, that doesn't make sense, because like, in the heat of the moment, like Michael's like, but if I don't kill Saul, then Ink is gonna kill Saul. So Well,
here's the thing: is Ink could very easily also stop the bomb from happening again. Because it's right behind him. So it's like you push the button now, or you have to send Victor down there, and then you might lose Victor, or you both have to go down there, because it's about a half hour from where Michael is to where Saul is, like to get into that spot where he is. So it's it's definitely not an easy decision you have to make in like 3 seconds.
I just like to say you're not the only people that can use props. That's all.
It's a very nice one, Kelly.
So there.
Well, let me guess. Is that Alice Cooper?
That's Alice. Snape. And his leopard skin boots.
Isn't Alice Cooper like your second or third favorite musical
Oh,
artist?
shut up. Shut up. You Alice Cooper poser, you.
Put him in color, Kelly.
Put him in color. Oh, we can do that. I think we can do that.
So while we're waiting for Kelly to put his Alice Cooper in color, one of the questions I had for Elisa, early on in the series, first there you go, it's in color. So people listening at home, there's a
color Alice Cooper.
A color
now
Alice Cooper.
Now I can see his boots. Thank you,
That's
Kelly.
that's a McFarlane toy.
Yes, it is. He's done a couple of really good ones.
Yeah, they make really good toys.
They're not a toy, Kate. They're a collectible.
Action figure. I'm sorry.
Action figure. They're not a doll. They're an action figure.
Mm-hmm.
Mike and Tony buy dolls.
So early on, Pegs was kind of shunned by everybody else, including Lizzie. I asked Elisa if she knew why that Pegs was kind of shunned. If you had given them enough background to what was going on around the characters going on around them.
Elisa was, or not Elisa, but Pegs was shunned because she knocked the flower pot off. That started like a major incursion that screwed up the tower for a pretty big stint of time.
Well, was that even before, when they first got into the tower and she found Mr. Whiskers? Because, like, people were, like, kind of... what Elisa thought it was because she had that sunny disposition and she thought everything was going to be okay, and the gardening stuff and,
Yeah, she has this weird... She does... her very essence before... I mean, if you're going back that far, yeah, she has this, she's a little bit of annoying. I think what you're getting at is where Riley was a little annoyed by her because she followed her around everywhere. Pegs is a character who's like very perky, very happy, always trying to help, and yeah, to the point where it started to annoy Riley and other people, and yeah.
Backstory that we had written.
She dropped the flower pot because she didn't place duct tape on the flower pot so it wouldn't fall off the rail.
Precisely.
Yeah, there was a whole backstory of why Pegs was afraid of guns that never really even got touched on.
Did you ever do that?
I don't think I did because I didn't think it was as necessary. I had a reason, but I figured it was not. It didn't come up. It didn't find a way to naturally come up. So.
One of the other things that we spoke about last week and a couple of weeks ago was the two characters that seemed to have the biggest change throughout the whole series were Datu and Pegs. Datu had a big change, and his change kind of started when he was in the arena with Samantha, and Pegs when she shot Scratch's brother, and then she continued to even more and more grow, like those characters growed. Lizzie was always a badass for the most part, so
Kelly, I think Kelly's another good big worker.
Well, she was one of those characters that everybody hated because she was kind of a bitch in the first season, but
she had a boy's name.
Really, Kelly?
Yeah, she did. That'll make you hate her. It means warrior. It's a boy's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you say so.
I
Nobody
do.
else agrees.
Every chance I get. I'm fine though.
But yeah, Kelly for the most part, she had the biggest swing. She was one of those characters that everybody hated. And she did change, but I think, well, she would be number 3 on the list as far as, changing. Would you agree with that? And was that something that you had planned out, or did it just, naturally happen with those characters as you were writing them?
To be honest, everybody had an arc. Um, every character I think had an arc in some ways, even all the way down to the villains like Tardust and things like that. They had their own arcs. Whether or not they were easily accessible and readable is another discussion. But like, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with the ones that changed the most. Kelly was up on my list a lot. Victor sort of was too. More or less his role inside the group was something that changed. Puck changed.
Well, Victor and Puck changed. They changed in the way that from how you intended them to how they became.
No, when Puck was first introduced, he was like really snarky and very he's still snarky, but like he was more of a dick to people of a rank anyway.
Still that way.
He's still that way, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, except he was on drugs in the last couple of episodes, but.
Oh yeah. Yes. Literal drugs. Yes.
He rules. Puck rules. You know, he's like, give me a gun. What you doing?
Well, Puck. Did you know that Puck was originally slated for death?
No,
Yeah.
because we did not know that. Because you
not
wouldn't.
run that by SnarkAlecs Radio.
We
He
need to approve these things in the future.
He was intended to die with the other soldiers, and ended up making him live longer because of I felt a lot of worth in his character, especially in the epilogue and what he could do for the story, living longer. The only thing that came up in my outline that I had to fix was I had to make sure that he was not going to be a mainstay involvement in the tower climax that was at the end that involved a lot of the female cast. Because I didn't want all of a sudden some male soldier to come in there chauvinistic and take over. I wanted the strength to be in the women of the scene rather than him. So that's why his legs were rebroken and drugged up. Because I didn't want him to be like, let me just do everything because I'm a trained soldier, so to speak.
Okay. Good.
So I think what we're going to do here is take a quick break.
Yeah,
and when we're going to come back, it's the last prop opportunity for Casey and Blair to wow us. And this will be a big one, and then I think we're going to thank them and call it a night. So when we come back, last big prop finish, listen to SnarkAlecs Radio on Live 365, home of the plugs. We'll be right back. Wait. That's no Pranaconda egg.
No, I'm actually getting seasick. Okay, let me bring Dawn back up.
And we're back. You're listening to SnarkAlecs Radio.
I found Nemo!
Live 365 is loud and loaded, finding Nemo. And the last prop of the evening from our prop masters, Casey and Blair.
That's a shark.
I think Gardner's boat would love this part, I think.
Yeah, it's a shark.
Love this.
Cool.
Now we gotta put everything back.
It's Shark Wayland.
Ooh, Shark Wayland. There'd be a good sci-fi movie.
Let me see. Is there anything else?
Wow. So our Sir Mike, Sir Tony, are we on the wind down of the episode of SnarkAlecs Radio?
We are. I'm just trying to see because there was a couple other things I wanted to ask. I meant to ask Elisa. I don't know if you know the answer, Casey. But there is a Honda commercial that's on TV, and there is a voiceover person, and it sounds a hell of a lot like Elisa to me. And I was going to ask her last week, but things kind of went crazy with, Vicky Adesso popping in and
Vicky
other
Adesso?
Yes.
Vicky Adesso popped in?
I don't know if that's her or not. If
Okay.
that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance. And I did have another question, but I can't remember it right now. So,
So why
Dawn?
don't I ask you? I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Cutting Dawn off. What was the other script that you showed us?
Yes, I want to know
Oh.
too.
That thing.
Yes. What is this other project?
Okay, so I've been working on another series during We're Alive. Actually, I started on it before We're Alive. And it's the next big series that I'm going to be doing after We're Alive. Because Tales of We're Alive is all fun and all, but I like writing long form rather than short form. I much rather prefer that because I like doing big stories rather than little ones and have lots of layers of things. And it's just I like it's much more fun for me. So Tales of We're Alive is short and this one's long. But it's the next series that I'm going to write. I'm not revealing anything yet because it's not ready. But I'm still determining whether or not it's going to be an audio drama, whether it's going to be a book form, or what medium to tell it in. But the story itself is amazing, and I'm just like adding new elements to it every day, and like just putting more and more into the outlines and really figuring out everything ahead of time. Because I'm a real huge person about like developing story and stuff before you ever start. That way you can have like a really concise and clear outline and story as you go.
Well, so the benefit of SnarkAlec Radio is like nobody listens to it, so there's nobody listening currently, and in fact, most of the people on the Hangout right now, they're not listening to you either. So you could share.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Kelly gives up halfway through.
I lose the details.
I'm reading my texts and stuff. Actually, I got a text here from Kelly talking about something about his prison stay.
I can see that pretty clearly, Tony.
So you could say a little bit about it, like nobody know, but maybe not. I give it a shot. We're looking forward to it because
Absolutely.
what we've been able to appreciate from you already has been just amazing and really enjoyable. So thank you.
What line do you see that would work?
Can I just say it?
Whisper it first.
Say it.
Do it as Lizzie dying.
No.
No, that gives away a little bit.
Does it?
Yeah. No, this is also that's the draft that I wrote in like. Let's see what the
Elementary school.
All right, I'll tell you what. Just whisper it to me.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm plugging my earphones.
I can mute everybody else's mic so they won't be able to hear.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yes, it does.
It's like science.
I'm just curious what the date on this draft is. Oh, it doesn't even say. Never mind. I think it's like 2003.
2019-85.
2019-85. That's so cool.
So I started this story. Almost like 10? No, maybe roughly like close to 10 years ago now is when I started this next series that I'm working on. Wow, it's been a long time, longer than We're Alive.
Can you at least tell us if it's like supernatural elements, like zombies or monsters, or is it just a drama?
Well,
or comedy?
Science fiction, supernatural. I don't like things that don't have a scientific explanation of some sort of way. I'm not a big fan of, because if you introduce magic of stuff that has no like rules, you can really play without do anything. I like to live inside of a world that has a lot more rigid boundaries and things like that. Like same with We're Alive. Sure, there are some things that are a little fantastic, but there's a scientific background for just about everything, and we had. Yeah, it's plausible, and we actually had a lot of research from people who are like in genetics and things like that. So they had a lot of assistance to make sure we got the science right.
Well, as we like to say on SnarkAlec Radio, yo, science! Bitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say science, bitches.
8-track out. So anyway.
You maybe put my game plan away.
Casey, so since it's over, and I know there was a lot of people who jumped ship and started watching The Walking Dead, are you going to try and get into that series now that you are done with this, or are you not going to bother?
I'm not going to bother. And the reason why, Grayson is watching it for me right now, just to make sure I don't cross any lines. I've been away from it for so long that it's kind of easy to stay away at this point, and maybe I might watch it if there's ever an ending or something like that. I find that there might be too many parallels with like what I might be doing with Tales of We're Alive. I'll just leave it and then maybe visit it one day again. Because I remember I was going to go back and watch the whole thing, but then Tales of We're Alive wasn't on the radar, and I'm like, let's keep it uninspired by that. If that makes sense.
Laura Norman says that Mr. Gleason was just on Castle. So
yeah. He has a lot
He
of.
does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you see him in a lot of places. He was American Horror Story as well. He's all over the place.
And
Hey, folks, I mean, and I got to work up. I don't want to pull a muscle. I've been off a couple SnarkAlec radios. I can't really finish a whole episode here because I probably hurt something. So I just wanted to say real quick, Casey, Blair, awesome guest. Thank you. Loved the props. Loved everything. Really, really cool. But I do have to step out right now. But I look forward to seeing all of you later.
Thanks, Kelly.
Bye, Kelly.
good night, Kelly.
Bye, Kelly.
See you next week. Oh, and he's gone.
Now we can really get started.
Yeah.
So, is there any other questions for people on Twitter? And I'm going to check the Q&A one more time just to make sure we've got everything clear.
I have one last concern. What happened to Lady?
You're not
She
gonna
lived
like.
happily ever after, didn't she? Don't tell me that.
She lived a long, healthy dog life.
She
but
did.
didn't make
And
it.
Nicholas grew up with Lady. I'll give you that much.
Okay.
Nicholas did grow up with Lady. But by the epilogue, Lady was already
Gone.
she was already a little old by the time we got introduced to her. So you know.
Okay. I
Well,
just
Miss-
want to make sure she lived.
Mr. Whiskers was still around, though.
Mr.
Because
Whiskers was 1 when the story started.
Yeah.
That's why. He's
So
a much
he's a
older
cat.
cat. Yeah.
Um,
20.
They can live till they're 20. So that's why. He still has, I think, about like maybe 1 life left after all this, 8.
So, do you guys have anything that you guys want to say? Anything that we didn't ask that you thought we might ask, or?
You know what? Somebody brought this up in a tweet, and I for some reason thought you had mentioned it. People were asking about like how is it in the epilogue that there were some zombies that were starving when they came over in the water, and there were some at the end when they realized that they didn't. They weren't starving as much. Somebody asked that question like, how can they be starving on the island and not there, and blah blah blah. Well, the reasoning is because there's far less food on the island than there was actually inside the city. They'll still eat stuff that's trash, but on the island there wasn't really a lot they could have eaten. They actually just like pretty much let it dry.
You know, I did not see that, and something like that didn't bother me. Like the threat being highly diminished, I understood, and being vigilant. I just thought that, in my own opinion, and you don't have to comment, but CJ makes some comments about, how many people are there and that there's other settlements that they know about, some friendly, some not. So, I said to myself, okay, there goes Casey leaving the door open for them, taking another jump, because I thought it was brilliant that you went, 14 years later with Michael telling the story with Pegs and you finding out everything. I mean, the information you gave us in the end was enough to keep me satisfied about what happened to the characters that we were following. Everybody else was dead that we knew of, except for maybe 1 or 2 guys here and there.
One of them that came up that people were like, what happened to him was Max, which is left open and ambiguous.
Okay. See, now there was some of us who, don't remember Max too much. But also, we know that there was a lot of people that went out when the colony kind of disbanded and everybody was kind of scattering. There was a lot of voices and a lot of stuff going on about that time. And so it was, on my part, I'm not going to say for everybody, but there was an assumption that, hey, if I didn't hear about you and I didn't care about you, you're gone.
Yeah. Well, Max was a side character, yeah, I will admit. But yeah, there's a lot of the people who did leave at that point most of them are still out at Lake Matthews if they didn't come back to the colony.
There is one final question, and then we'll wrap this sucker up. I think we asked you this question the last time, but Myrna again wants to ask the question: how do you decide when you have to kill off a likable character? Does it make you sad?
The nice thing about We're Alive, and this is why I'm outlining things with my next story ahead of time, is because you determine that stuff way before you ever get attached to them, so that their death serves a purpose in the story, and the story cannot move forward without that person dying. So that makes it incredibly easy to then let go of the characters that you love. Because if the story can't move on without them dying, then you don't want to, stall out your story. So like when Lizzie died and when Datu died, those events had to happen for the next events to actually take place. So whenever a character has to go, it's sad in a way because you have to lose the voice that's in your head, but it's also very, powerful because you have to do that in order to move on.
Very cool. And with that, if there's no further objection, we're going to end the sucker.
Cool.
So this has been the SnarkAlec Radio on Live 365's Loud and Loaded channel. Kelly is gone, so I'm taking over hosting. Casey has been so cool to come on again and spend... Oh, what the hell is Mike got? A lightsaber or some kind of crap? What is that, Mike?
Oh, no. This is the Evil Bong thing where, for the Facebook listeners, Comcast just renewed Evil Bong for another 15 years.
Okay.
So we will have been on Comcast for 23 consecutive years.
Wow.
By the time the license is up.
Okay, yeah, and if you look at the IMDb for Evil Bong,
Some amazing guy made that.
you get to see that guy. We want you guys to keep in touch. If there's anything that you guys need or you want to talk about or you want to promote and you want to come on, hit us up. Jay is probably going to come back on again and do another horrible sing-along with us, maybe.
Horrible's objective. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, you would. If you haven't seen it, when the show's over, I will tweet you a link because I cut it out of the show. So it's about 6 minutes long, 2 minutes. If you go 2 minutes in, it's when it starts, but it's pretty bad. But coming up next week, hey, we've been so guest heavy. Mike, do we know if we're getting Pat Briggs or Vex or what's going on?
Yes, Pat Briggs will be joining us on the 7th.
Okay, so that's not. Pat Briggs is the lead singer for Pat Briggs right now, right? Because he's going.
He's still the lead singer of Psychotica.
Yes.
But he has his solo project.
So we want to remind people to watch Sharktopus versus Terracuda. Bring out your geek. Check them out. Nurture and support. Check out Melissa and Kelly. Dylan O's is on Sunday. Check out our website.
Wait, there's one other show, Tony.
Which show is that?
That would be the new show that you named.
Oh, I'm not gonna say that again. So anyway, on the website, hopefully sometime this weekend we'll have some details on the fundraiser. And that's going to be on fundanything.com. And if
fundanything.com.
And you want to know something that's really funny? There's a radio show here in Philadelphia, Casey. That's Preston and Steve. And we were talking about doing a fundraiser. And, I just went on one of those fundraising sites. And there's a guy that raised over $60,000 to make potato salad.
Oh, yeah.
And we are not looking for anything near that amount. We will take potato salad. We just don't need $60,000. We don't. But here's the deal, and so this is my pitch. SnarkAlec Radio actually costs us absolutely no money to do the radio show. I spent $27 on a headset. Everybody has incurred a little bit of an expense, but we haven't outlaid any money ourselves. But Mike is the one who runs the radio station. And the radio station... I was going to say, SnarkAlec Radio cost me a fucking lot of money. Yeah. The radio station covers itself, kinda, by ads that are put on by the network provider. That pay the royalty on the music that plays and that supports this. But if we want to do anything else, we can't because we don't have enough server space. We don't have enough offline storage. We don't have good equipment between the 3 or 4 of us or 6 of us. So we're looking to raise some money just to make the stuff that we're doing a little bit better. We've been doing it for over a year, and I don't know if you remember how crappy we were last year, but we're only a little bit less crappy now, and we want to get better. Low single-digit % less crappy. Yes,
That's the kind of progress you can expect here.
but we're making slow incremental progress, which is what you want. You want that steady growth. You don't want that. You don't want to get up to the top real quick, and because you peak early and then you crash. We want to keep that upward slope going. So about 0.5% a year is good. What do you think, Mike? 0.5%.
That's solid. That's a solid. You got to pace yourself. You can't jump right into these things.
That's right. We don't
If we start making really high quality content shows, people are gonna expect that shit every week.
Yeah, I know.
You set the bar too high. People get used to quality, and you can't go back to what we give them every other week.
And how many hits did we get on the last interview we did with Pat Briggs? Like 22,000 or 12,000 or 13,000?
That was like 12 or 13,000
in 2 weeks.
And then the next video, the one up after that, was my 6-hour music video project. That's up to like 24,000. So, and that's just on the Vimeo channel, and the SnarkAlec radio show gets about 5 or 6 hits a week. So, we're chugging along. We're dozens
up from
of fans.
Yeah, with dozens of fans now from the single. We were up like about 7 or 8 hits a week. Now we're up to like 15. So it's really exponential growth is not what we're looking for, but that's what we're getting. Because when you only have 5 listeners and you get 10. What's that? That's a big percentage. We can't.
We don't even know what double means.
Yeah, we don't even know.
He was like, if you go from 5 to 10, what's that? It's a lot. That's what
it's a lot.
It's a lot percent. We don't know math.
No, math is hard, yo. How many times do I have to tell you? Math is freaking hard. So, anyway, there's going to be details on the website about that. Hey, and if we get a little bit extra cheddar, maybe we could use that to kind of
drugs.
Wait. No, not drugs. To help fund Snark Stock. Anyway.
Maybe we'll throw a signed T-shirt or something your way. You guys can auction off or something. I don't know.
Oh, cool.
Thank you very much. Casey wants in on those drugs. I mean,
yes. And with that, it's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. It's really late on the West Coast. Blair's got to go to sleep. She's got to wake up early. Everybody else has to go. So good night, everybody, and we'll catch you next week. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for being here, Casey and Blair.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This is awesome.
Good night.
Thanks.